The 2023 Niro EV, a small electrified crossover SUV from Kia that aims to compete with the likes of the Kona EV, MG ZS EV, BYD Atto 3 and even itself. This second generation is a smart all-rounder with premium interior, a stylish exterior and lots of features that make this GT line version something you might want to check out. In this review, I'm going to be covering all this and more, so stick around and learn why this car is great on so many levels, but maybe on one very important criteria. G'day, my name's Chris and I cover from an Australian perspective things like electric vehicles and more. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe and hang around to the end to hear how you can support the channel. Let's kick off this review with the interior, and it feels very much like the Kia EV6, and that's a good thing. It's dark, moody, and has the same features as its more expensive offering. Available in one color grade only, charcoal, there's little accents here and there which elevate it above others, which can be boring and bland. See my Kona EV review for an example. With 8-way power adjustable seats, including lumbar support, and seats that are both heated and ventilated, supportive, and one of the best in the market. There's a welcome return of relaxation mode on the passenger side. Very nice. Up top, you've got a small sunroof that retracts and also tilts. And it does the job of helping to ventilate the interior, but I'd much rather a full sunroof for that moon experience because, well, it just seems rather small and only serves very little purpose. All right, the exterior of the Niro is, I think, pretty pleasing. There's so much going on, so I'll quickly step you through it as to the elements that I like. The front has all the stylings of Kia's new branding, including the LED headlights here. There's 360-degree sensors throughout and a black geometric pattern that is in place of where a grille used to be perhaps, and I actually quite like it. It's suggestive of something that's brand new, futuristic and forward-looking. The side profile is your typical SUV with not one but three different colors here that are contrasting. So from the white, you've got the blacks, as well as these gray accents down the bottom and also the rear panel there. It's okay. It looks a little bit of a people mover style of thing. That's subjective. Remember, looks are always subjective. On the back, you've got a shark fin antenna, deep little recess in here, rear wiper, large light cluster, Kia badging, and again, the three-tone motif with the white, grey, and black. All in all, it's not a bad looking car. I like the front more than I do the side, and the back, yeah, it resolves itself once again. Across the front, you've got two generous high-resolution screens that show driver settings, speed, and more. As the theme of black is continued here, it almost looks like one big screen, but it's actually two 10.25-inch screens. Featuring Harman Kardon 8-speaker system with subwoofer, DAB radio, built-in navigation, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I found using it to be a pleasure because everything is, well, in easy reach, and unlike the Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6, where I had a bit of a problem reaching because of my sitting position, maybe my height, I didn't have any issue in this car whatsoever. Beneath the center screen, there's HVAC controls and quick access through this slender LCD screen, which changes slightly depending upon selection of this button. The aircon and heating system is dual zone and does the job nicely, but it seems silly that they didn't include up and down arrows for the passenger side and just kept that left-hand volume control. And also, the other critique I have here, once again, is that it changes. If you press this button, it moves over to Maps, Settings, EV and others, which is duplicated on the main screen. And it seems superfluous when you've already got three different shortcut buttons in this car to get to the same sort of places. So yeah, I would much rather that bottom section just remained purely for HVAC control and volume. Shifting our focus to the lower section, down here there's a wireless charging pad, USB A and C ports, 12-volt socket, drive selector, seat, heating and ventilation buttons, steering 2, auto hold, parking sensors and cameras. There's some storage space with this small supportive center console bin that might do double duty as an elbow rest if your seat position is positioned just right. The glove box is okay, with storage for stuff indoors and bottle and cup holders, making up a total of 8 places to keep you hydrated. The driver's door has window, mirror and door controls, and either side of the wheel there's light and indicator stalks on the right wipers on the left. Remote boot open and close with thanks to its power liftgate. It's almost perfect and well designed and will suit almost all drivers, except for one issue which is probably unique to me, and that is with my seat right where it is and the steering in its telescopic and tilt adjustment, I can't actually see the top of the binnacle in front of me. And well, that's actually not an issue because there's a beautiful heads-up display which gives you information such as speed, navigation, radar cruise control, lane keep assist information, and more. Tesla, if you're watching this, again, where in the 3 and why, it is the binnacle or at least a heads-up display. Moving to the rear, and I find for a small SUV, it's actually pretty spacious. Headroom is decent, knee room is excellent, so too foot room if I scoop my feet underneath. Back here there's a 240 volt power outlet, meaning you can be working here on your computer, charging something, or maybe you can plug in some camping stuff like a kettle, portable fridge, and do some power clamping through perhaps even the external vehicle to load adapter. Whilst the Niro Electric can accommodate up to 5 passengers, sitting across the back is small because, you know, compact SUV. So maybe reserve carrying 3 across for short trips or underlings like these. With ISOFIX, center armrest, fold down flat seat, map pocket, USB-C sockets in the back of the seat. It's a well executed rear, in fact interior, and that premium that Kia is actually becoming synonymous with. Materials throughout the cabin are a mix of soft touch fabrics, soft and hard plastics, and nothing immediately in reach that feels cheap or nasty. It's not EV6 or Ioniq 5 class, and nor is it Kona EV quality. Rather, it's somewhere in between. And if you own this, I think you would enjoy it and it will do very well long term. The Kia Niro EV has one thing that most cars I've recently tested don't have, bar Tesla, and that is Kia Connect. It's an app which handles remote preconditioning of the cabin, location finding, capability to send search destinations to the car, remote lock and unlock, user profiles, valet parking, nanny mode, and more. It's supposedly available with this car that I've been testing for the last week, but I don't think there's a SIM card in there because I can't seem to connect to the car. So it's encouraging to see that finally someone's getting close to Tesla with that mobile phone experience and doing stuff that just makes electric vehicles awesome. Moving to the boot, capacity is okay at 475 litres seats up, or put them down and that increases to 1392 litres. Up front there's a 20 litre storage container nestled in here, but it feels like the designer said, Tesla and Polestar are doing awesome frunks. I guess we better do something too. Let's just plonk a container on top of all this stuff and yeah, it's got a frunk. Tick. Before I get to driving, I want you to imagine that I've been penned in by 2 cars that are parked way too close to me. Not a problem with the Niro EV as it has remote summon. Okay, let's get on the road and talk to you about driving the Kia Niro EV. Up front, there's a single 150 kilowatt motor which produces 255 Nm of punchy torque. The Kia Niro has 4 drive modes from Eco, Normal, Sport and Snow. Add to that 1 pedal driving and you've got a car that's usable in most Australian driving conditions. Obviously using Eco mode slows acceleration and Normal is perfectly fine, with Sport being the most fun. Speaking of which, let's do a 0 to 100 km/h test. And there we go. All right, through the magic of Final Cut Pro, because there's no timers in this car, that's the result. And it's got a claimed 0 to 100 time of 7.8 seconds, which is faster than my MG ZS, but slower than the Tesla Model Y. It's perfectly fine considering that, well, this is your average sort of run-around car in Australia, albeit electric. Suspension has reportedly been tuned to our roads and feels really comfortable in most conditions. It's not stiff and absorbs shocks and bumps really well. I would like to see steering to be a bit more engaging as it feels light and not very connected to the road. Turning circle is 10.6 meters, which is in line with most others in its size and class. The first thing I noticed when driving the Niro was its quiet interior. This is due in part to the laminate glass and sound absorption in wheel arches and firewalls. I feel that it's quieter than my Tesla Model Y and MG, and results are shown here to back that up. Visibility out the front, to the sides and to the rear is excellent. The Kia Niro EV is rated at 16.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's the amount of energy it takes to get this car, 100 kilometers. So if you know what you pay for your electricity at home, let's say that's 25 cents per kilowatt hour, that's going to mean that to fill this car from 0 to 100% full would only cost you not even $16. In the week I had the Kia Niro EV, I actually came out at 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So not as efficient as what Kia has claimed, meaning that, well, realistically, this car can only get about 360 kilometers of range. Now, that's still okay, and that will work for most people. And perhaps if I drove it more efficiently, didn't do those 3 different 0 to 100 k per hour tests that, well, you only saw one, but I did 3, I could have got a better result. For those who are wondering if the weekend's ruined, yes, the Kia Niro EV can tow. Capable of doing 300 kilograms unbraked or 750 kilograms braked. As with all Kia models in Australia, the Niro comes with a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, right up there with the MG ZS EV, and is 5-star NCAP rated. Safety features include blind spot monitoring, 8 airbags, autonomous emergency braking with collision avoidance for both front and rear, pedestrian cyclist detection, adaptive cruise control with stop and go traffic, driver attention alert, traffic sign recognition, and a lot more. I've done a separate video on radar cruise control and lane keep assist, think Tesla Autopilot, so if you want to check that out, follow the link up here. Otherwise, let's wrap this up. Price from $65,300 to $72,100 before on-road costs. You can get the Kia Niro EV in clear white, or you can get this one, snow white, for an additional $520, which all the 7 other color options are all the same price. So it's actually pretty competitive and right up there with, well, beats most other car makers for that matter. Servicing, on the other hand, is required every 12 months or 15,000 kilometers and costs on average $200 a year. On average. You can see why I'm stressing on average, because, well, you can elect to buy a service plan and minimize any inflation costs over time, but conversely, yeah, this is what it looks like over 5 years. The Kia Niro EV looks almost identical to its plug-in hybrid sister, except of course this front grille and charging flap, which interrupts a strong front presence. Under the base of the car is a 64.8 kilowatt hour battery pack and respectable 11 kilowatt onboard charger, meaning 6 or 7 hours to completely refill the Niro from empty to full using this sort of home charger. But the Niro also comes equipped with a slow trickle charger and will replace most Australian drivers' range in just 3 to 4 hours. That means when you get home, you plug it in, and by the time you go to bed, your car will be fully charged and ready to go again. Imagine that. A fuel pump in the boot of your car that plugs into any standard 240 volt outlet and can fill up your car every single day, ready to go. Benefit also, if you've got solar, awesome. You've got clean, green and free energy to run your car. If you have to do rapid charging, that time of 0 to full drops to about 45 minutes using a 100 kilowatt rapid charger. Yes, I said 100 kilowatts, and that's disappointing, especially considering its sister, the Kia EV6, has up to 350 kilowatts. So this thing is more than 2 to 3 times slower than its slightly bigger version. So charging time on the other one is a good, 18 minutes, not even, whereas this one, yeah, 40 minutes, 45 minutes to full. As a whole, I find the Kia Niro EV to be a compelling car that looks great from most angles, features a premium interior, handles very well and efficiently gets you most everywhere with that real-world range of 400 kilometers-ish. Features like Kia Connect, remote summon, vehicle to load, heads-up display, generous internal space for 4 or 5 people at a pinch. This car should be on your try list, but with a maximum 100 kilowatt DC fast charge, a price that is extremely close to its big brother Kia EV6, plus the Niro has a smaller battery too, meaning less range, I find it hard to suggest to someone to spend their money on it. If the price was at least $5,000 cheaper and getting close to the long range of the BY Atto 3 or the long range, if we ever get it, MG ZS EV, then this will be absolutely a compelling car. Some people will go for the brand, that warranty and dealer support. So I think, well, definitely give it a go because it's a worthwhile car to have a look at. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. It's absolutely free. And you want to see behind the scenes content, news, polls, and stuff that I just don't show you here on YouTube, maybe come and join me on Patreon where you get all this and a lot more from as little as $2.50 per month, or also look into YouTube memberships. Yeah, just hit the join button beneath. It's easy as that. And otherwise, you be good and you be green.